Welcome to the Conjure Room, and today we are talking about your inherited gifts. The gift people keep coming to you for maybe more than just a natural ability. It may be inherited medicine that your ancestors have passed down to you. You may have always been the one who could hear what was really being said beneath the words. If that's you, drop it in the chat. Yep, that's me. I know I could. I could hear beneath the words, and I knew that that had something to do with the gift. Yeah, Pat says yes. You may be the one people come to when they're in transition or they need help making sense of what's changing in their lives. You may be the one that sees the pattern before anyone else knows there's actually a pattern going on in someone's life. And you may have a way of bringing language to people to make them feel like someone understands what they haven't been able to explain. And then you may know how to hold a truth. You may know how to hold grief, a vision, possibility, spiritual steadiness in a way that feels really natural to you. And because it's natural, you may have overlooked it. You may have called it your personality, your experience, maybe your intuition, your way of being. All of that is true, but it also is inherited. It is your inheritance that's beneath it all. I'm Dr. MoNique, the Conjuress CEO and the trusted advisor to Lineage-Led Women. I love helping accomplished spiritual women recognize their inherited wisdom, their inherited medicine, and shape it into work that helps them to be able to really recognize what's emerging and to help them create something from what is emerging into that work. That's the legacy, and that's what I'm called to carry. Today in the Conjure Room, we're talking about the inherited gifts that make your work uniquely yours. This conversation is for women who have gathered the training, they've earned the degrees, they have the credentials, the certifications, they've led, built, served, and still they feel something is deeper moving beneath the surface. You may have the language for it, but you may not. You may know that it is something that you can do professionally, but for some reason you're not able to name it. You may have the certifications, the degrees, experience, business, a body of knowledge, or years of being the person that everybody trusts. Yet something in you knows the deeper source of your work did not begin with that training. The training may have helped sharpen it, life may have matured it, and leadership may have tested it, but the gift itself may have been living in you long before you knew what to call it. The gift that feels natural to you may not be the exact medicine your next season is asking for, but I can tell you that when you recognize it, that medicine is going to help shape whatever season you're stepping into. So today I want to talk about two things. First, why deeply inherited gifts can feel ordinary to the woman who is carrying them. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how training and experience can refine what the inheritance may have already initiated. And after that, I want to guide you through a short practice to begin recognizing one gift that has been moving through you. So let's start with the deeply inherited gifts and how they can feel ordinary. Well, one reason inherited gifts are easy to miss is that they feel ordinary to you. They come naturally to you. You have lived with them for so long that you assume everyone can do what you do. And I'm going to tell you, everyone cannot. The way you listen may be your medicine. The way you see through confusion, that may be your medicine. The way people feel safe telling you the truth, that may be your medicine. The way you bring a room back to center in the middle of chaos, That may be your medicine. The way you help others cross from one season into another may be your medicine. And the way you protect, organize, discern, create, pray, guide, teach, or name what others cannot yet name may be connected to something your lineage has been carrying through you for generations. Now it's showing up in you in a more powerful way. And I want you to just really take a moment to be honest with yourself. What do people consistently come to you for? When life becomes complicated, what do they trust you to hold? When they're confused, what do they ask you to help them see? When they are trying to make a decision, what do they look to you for to help clarify? And when they're in a vulnerable season, what kind of support do they expect from your presence? You see, that pattern actually matters because often recognizing a gift in you is one of the ways that you know that people are fully seeing you and you start to realize what that gift is. You begin to see it in yourself. And people who recognize it, or even you may not call it inherited wisdom, you may not call it your medicine, you may not understand the spiritual depth beneath it, but you know, and they know when they're receiving it from you. Some inherited gifts are really carried openly in a family line, and others are carried quietly. Some were shaped under pressure, some were hidden because it wasn't safe to name them. A grandmother may have been the one people came to for counsel, even though no one called her a guide. You may have an auntie. That auntie may have known things before people said them out loud. A mother may have carried protection in her body in prayers. A great grandmother may have gathered people, fed people, prayed over people, and held community together without even being recognized as a spiritual leader. Someone in your lineage may have carried truth. Some may have even carried sight. Some may have carried a healing presence when they walked in the room. And then there's some that may have carried language, song, ritual, protection, strategy, care, beauty, grief work, dreams, wisdom, or the ability to help people survive what seemed absolutely impossible. And now that version of that gift is moving through you in a new form. And that's why you begin to feel something is emerging. That's when the ancestors are guiding you back to what that gift is. And you can't measure the value of the gift only by how dramatic it feels. Some gifts, as I said, feel quiet because they're ancient. Some feel natural because they've been practiced through generation and generation. And some may even feel ordinary because your spirit has always known them. This is where many women under-recognize what they carry. They assume the gift is too simple to really matter. They dismiss what people consistently receive from them because it doesn't feel hard enough. So let me say this clearly. A gift does not need to exhaust you in order to be powerful. Sometimes the medicine comes through what moves with ease. Sometimes the gift is revealed by what you can hold without losing yourself. And sometimes the thing you do naturally, and hear this, the thing you do naturally is the very thing your work now needs to honor, structure, and bring forward. And this is especially important for accomplished women. You have likely been rewarded for what you could prove, explain, manage, accomplish, measure. So when the gift comes through your spirit, your body, your presence, your lineage, or your deep knowing, it may not fit that old system of validation. That doesn't make the gift any less real. It means you really need a different way of recognizing it. And ancestral guidance helps with that. Because your ancestors know what has been carried in the lineage. They know what has been practiced openly, and they know what has been hidden. They know what was interpreted, and they know what is ready to be recognized through you right now. You see, training refines what inheritance may have initiated. So let's talk a little bit about training. Training matters. Credentials matter. Methods, mentorship, skills, structure, experience can all help you serve with clarity and responsibility. And I don't want to dismiss any of that because those things are definitely important. You've earned what you know. You've lived enough to understand that spiritual gifts need grounding. And when you're serving people, your work, it needs form. It needs language. It needs integrity. It needs a way for someone to understand what you help them with. What kind of transformation becomes possible in your presence? Training can help with that, but training doesn't really reveal the original source of the work. That is in your lineage. You can have the certifications and still feel that something deeper wants to come through. And I see this quite a bit with people who are going through programs where they are studying different healing modalities and spiritual modalities. The certifications are there, but you still feel like there's something deeper. What those certifications did, what that training did, is opened you to what's coming next. You can have the method and still sense that the language is too small. You can have the business model and still know your work wants a more truthful space. You can have years of experience and still be learning how to name the inheritance beneath it. This is where I find that many women get stuck that I work with. They keep trying to build the next season of their work only from what they studied. They look at the training, the market, they look at what other people are doing, they look at the experts and how the experts have structured their business. And some of that is useful, but when inherited wisdom and medicine are shaping what is emerging through you, outside structure alone will not be enough. You really have to understand what your lineage has been shaping through you. And I always say that external authority can organize the work, ancestral guidance can reveal the source of the work. External authority can help with delivery, show you how to deliver it to people, show you how to gather with people. Ancestral guidance can show you the spiritual assignment beneath the gift. External authority can give you a model, a strategy. Ancestral guidance, though, can help you recognize what is truly yours to carry at this time. And that distinction really matters because your work is not powerful only because of what you know. Your work carries power because of what has been lived, refined, survived, practiced, protected, passed forward through your lineage in your own life. When I work with clients, I connect with the ancestors, especially what I call the wisdom keepers. And these are the ancestors that are the keepers of the medicine in the lineage. They know the medicine, they know the gifts, they know the stories behind those gifts, and they know what has been carried through the bloodline and what is really ready to take form in you right now, in this place, in this time. They also know the ancestral stories. They know the stories that may be interfering with the gift, the stories that have been passed down for generations. Sometimes a woman does know she is gifted. She can feel it. Other people feel it and see it. But something happens when she tries to name it, charge for it, speak about it, build work around it. Your throat starts to tighten. Your language starts to soften and the power leaves. You hide behind what are considered safer credentials. You delay your offers. You keep changing the name. And you look for one more training when the deeper issue is that the gift is asking to be trusted. That may be an ancestral story. The ancestral stories oftentimes show up and interfere with our ability to tap into and recognize that medicine and then bring it to the market. Because there may be a story around being visible, a story about an ancestor who may have been punished for being visible, a story around a family member who was silenced at some point and told that they couldn't share their work. And it could be a story around money and spiritual work. And I see that happen quite frequently. I have clients that will tell me, well, should I really be charging? Or they're undercharging and they're struggling and they're having to get another job because there is an underlying story about money and spiritual work. Sometimes there's a story around responsibility, or there's some grief or abandonment or shame, or there's something around carrying too much. And that's why inherited gift recognition and understanding the ancestral stories that may be interfering, those two belong together. You can have this real gift, and you can have an inherited story that's interfering with how freely you carry that gift. You can have deep medicine, and you still need support giving it clear form. You can have spiritual authority and still need language and structure and guidance to help the work emerge through you. And that is the deeper work. And we won't cover all of that today. I wanted to share a little bit about the inheritance part because it's a major part of the work that I do with the women that work with me. And we will be returning to this conversation again because there are some other pieces of it that are important for you to understand. For today, I just want to begin with some recognition of your gift, because recognition is the first way of entering into the door. So I want to bring this closer to you. You can do this with a journal or a notebook or simply by just listening inwardly. So if you have a notebook, you might want to grab it now. And give yourself permission to receive what comes without trying to polish it. That's not important right now. We're just wanting to receive it. So just take a deep breath. You may want to close your eyes and just let your shoulders settle. And then bring attention into your body. You don't have to force anything. Today, we're just listening. And then ask yourself, what is one gift that people consistently come to me for? What is that one gift that they come to you for? And then place your hand where you feel it in your body. Think about the people that keep showing up, that keep asking you questions. It's the one that people trust, the one you may have minimized because it feels so natural to you. Maybe people come to you for clarity, truth. Maybe they come because your presence actually steadies them. Maybe they come because you can actually see the deeper pattern. Maybe they come because you help them make sense of a transition that they were going through. And then maybe they come because you know how to hold spiritual space without making people feel small. Just let the answer rise for a moment. Identify that gift. And now ask yourself, what deeper medicine may live beneath this gift? Let's say if people come to you for clarity, what kind of clarity do you bring? If they come to you for truth, what does your truth help them face or recognize? And if they're coming to you for comfort, what becomes possible because of your presence? And if they come to you for guidance, what are you helping them understand, or maybe release, or claim, or bring into some form? You don't need impressive language. Just be honest. What is that gift? What is the deeper medicine that lives beneath the gift? And now, who in my lineage may have carried a version of this gift? That's your next question. Who in my lineage may have carried a version of this gift? You may know a name. You may just sense someone in your lineage. You might remember a story that was told to you by some of the elders in your family, or something that you saw in your family. You may even see a face, a place, maybe a kitchen, a church, a garden, a porch. It could be a workroom, a song, a prayer, or even a pair of hands. You may not know who carried it. That is okay. Just notice what comes. Who in my lineage may have carried a version of this gift? And now turning to your work. Where is this gift asking to become more visible in my work? Where is this gift asking to become more visible in my work? This may bring up your message, it may bring up your offer, it may bring up the clients you are here to serve, it may bring up a conversation you've been avoiding. It may bring up a place where your work has become too small for what you carry. Let the answer come gently. Now take a moment to just place your hand over your heart, your belly, or wherever you feel most grounded. And just quietly say this to yourself. Ancestors who walk with wisdom, clarity, and love, help me recognize the gifts that have been moving through me. Show me the medicine beneath what feels natural. Help me honor what my lineage has carried and give it form with reverence, courage, and truth. And just take another deep breath. And when you're ready, come back into the Conjure Room. And for those of you who are here with me live, I would love for you to share one word or phrase in the chat. And if you're on Facebook, share it there, and I'll come back and take a look at what came up for you. What is one gift people consistently come to you for? It can be simple. You don't have to use a whole lot of words. It can be clarity, truth, calm, strategy, prayer, listening, pattern recognition. It could be transition, language, protection, guidance, whatever feels honest. Let's take a look. We have alchemy, peace, wisdom. Yes. Healing counselor. They come to you for that, and that is your gift. Shamanist. Yes. Absolutely. And I want you to notice something. A gift that you name may just be the surface for you. And Yana says connector, creativity. Absolutely. The medicine underneath what you just named can be really much deeper. And this is where our ancestral work begins. So what I want you to focus on this week, choose one of the gifts, maybe the one that you just named in the chat or the one that came up for you. Choose one that people consistently come to you for, just one, and then write it down. Then sit with these questions during the week. So the first question, what deeper medicine lives beneath this gift? What deeper medicine lives beneath this gift? Number 2, who in my lineage may have carried a version of it? Who in my lineage may have carried a version of it? And where have I minimized this gift because it feels natural? That was number 3. And number 4, where is this gift asking for clearer structure in my work? Those 4 questions. Those are the questions you want to notice, think about, and continually ask yourself this week. And then pay attention to what rises. Notice the conversations you start to have with people. Notice what people ask you for. Notice what your body does when you speak the gift out loud. Notice any memories or dreams, names, or family stories that begin to come forward as you're focusing on this gift. You're not trying to force a complete answer with this exercise. This spiritual practice is just for you to start to open to this gift. This is an opportunity to begin a relationship with what you carry. And this week, that's enough. That's absolutely enough. So as I close out the Conjure Room today, I want you to remember this. The gift that feels natural is spiritually significant. It is a part of the inherited wisdom and medicine your lineage has been carrying through you. It may be connected to the work that is emerging in you right now. It's asking for language, structure, and reverence. And it's one of the reasons certain people are drawn to you. If you know something meaningful is emerging in your work and you are ready to understand what your ancestors may be showing you, I invite you to schedule an ancestral legacy conversation with me. This is a private conversation between the two of us where we will look at what is rising, what you may be carrying, and whether my program, Conjure Sovereignty, is the right place for that work to be guided, clarified, and shaped into a form that allows you to truly live it. Conjure Sovereignty is a 6-month private immersion for accomplished spiritual women, women who are lineage-led, who are ready to recognize those inherited gifts and the wisdom and the medicine that are already living in them. These are women that are ready to heal ancestral stories that may be interfering and give form to the work and legacy being called to carry. Many women right now in this time are being called, are being supported by the ancestresses in our lineage to claim the inherited gifts that have been placed into us from the day we were born, the gifts that have been passed down from generation to generation. Many of them, as I've said before, may have been hidden for several generations. They're coming out of hiding. And now's the time. And when you shape your work from this place, the success that you are wanting becomes so much easier. Everything you do becomes easier. What you offer, how you offer it, where you volunteer, where the opportunities come from, those all become easier when you understand your inherited medicine. And part of what I do in the Conjure Sovereignty program is the very first thing that we do is we connect with your ancestors, your wisdom keepers, and we identify what the inherited gifts and wisdom are in your family, in your lineage. That is the very first appointment. So you have clarity. So if you're interested and would like to have that ancestral legacy conversation with me, it's a complimentary conversation where we're just talking to find out where you are, what's happening, and how Conjure Sovereignty may be able to help you, or if it can help you. It may not be the place for you to begin. Then I have put the link in the chat on Zoom, and I will also include it on Facebook and on YouTube on the replay. The replay of today's conversation will be available on YouTube, so you can return to the practice and listen again if maybe you didn't get everything down and you want to try it again. Next week in the Conjure Room, we'll continue this conversation. We'll have part 2 of the inherited gifts, and we'll be focusing more on the ancestral stories that interfere with us being able to understand what those inherited gifts are. And I'll take you through a little guided journey to help you begin to release some of those stories. For this week, though, I just want you to honor the gift that's been there all along. Take some time, just honor it, recognize it, really hold on to it. You might even want to just stop for a moment and think to yourself, wow, that's me. That's what I offer. Really honor the one that people keep coming to you for, the gift that feels natural, the one your lineage may have been refining through you for longer than you can even begin to know. Focus on it, honor it, value it, and appreciate it. I'm Dr. MoNique, and I'll see you in the next Conjure Room next Wednesday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. If you join me on Zoom, you have an opportunity to stay after to have a deeper discussion of the topic that we discuss. If you'd like the link, if you're listening on Facebook and you'd like the link to Zoom and join us on Zoom, then just pop Zoom in the comments. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, I'll make sure that the link to join me on Zoom is over there as well, so that you can come into the Zoom Conjure Room and have a deeper discussion. Thank you again for being here, and I look forward to seeing you next week.